Hello students, welcome to Prodigy Edu Classes. Today we'll be discussing a video on GERL system. Now today we'll be going through endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi body, lysosome, endomembrane system and a few MCQs. In order to understand this video, you need to have a basic knowledge of the cell, how the cell membrane functions, for which you need to consult the previous videos on cell membrane, and then a very basic knowledge of the Golgi body, endoplasmic reticulum and the lysosome. So look, the GERL system here, these letters stand for the organelles. G stands for the Golgi body, ER stands for the endoplasmic reticulum, and L stands for the lysosome. So these three together make up the GERL system or the endomembrane system. Now the question is, why put them together in a system? What are the characteristics which bring them together? And if they are similar, then why regard them as separate organelles? So to begin with, we'll start with endoplasmic reticulum and we'll discuss each of the organelles under these 5 headings. Starting with the endoplasmic reticulum, it was discovered by Porter and his group. You will find it referred to as Porter et al. And it was also named by him. He discovered it in 1945 and named it in 1953. Coming to the origin, the endoplasmic reticulum is, you see, the basic points that you need to know is that it is a 3-dimensional interconnected to network. And it is a single membrane bound and it is present in the endoplasm part of the cytoplasm. Okay. So these are the 3 things that you must mention in your introductory note about the endoplasmic reticulum. It is a 3-dimensional interconnected network of tubules. It is single membrane bound cell organelle and it is present in the condensed mainly in the endoplasm part of the cytoplasm. Now coming to the origin, the endoplasmic reticulum begins as outpouchings from the nuclear membrane. Look, here you have the cell membrane and you have the nucleus with its nuclear membrane. Now all of these membranes that you will find in a eukaryotic cell are of that cell membrane model. They are all similar in their structure. They are all formed of lipid and protein bilayers. Okay. So this membrane, single membrane bound organelle, the endoplasmic reticulum, will actually form by outpouchings from the nuclear membrane. That is how it will originate. If you look at the structure, you will find that it is composed of 3 kinds of components. You have the cisternes, the tubules and the vesicles. Okay, the cisternes, the tubules and the vesicles. Now how do these look? Cisternes are flattened sac-like structure. Imagine if you have a curtain and you pass a plate through it, then you will have a hollow sac-like structure with 1 layer above, 1 layer below and a hollow substance in between. That is how a cistern looks. It's a hollow flattened sac-like structure. What are tubules? Tubules are just like your tube-like. They are elongated hollow cylindrical structures which are formed from the cistern. And in turns from the tubules you will find formation of the vesicles. Vesicles are just ball-like small structures which are formed from the tubules. So you have cisternae forming from the nuclear membrane, then you will have tubules forming from the cisternae and the vesicles will form subsequently from the tubules. Okay. So broadly, structurally, the endoplasmic reticulum can be of 2 types, the RER and the SER. Now, R stands for rough and S stands for smooth. So why rough and smooth? See, rough and smooth depends on the presence or absence of ribosomes from the single membrane of the endoplasmic reticulum. So if ribosomes are present, then the surface of the membrane appears to be rough due to the dot like, you can see the ribosomes in red present over here. If the ribosomes are present, it will be rough, and if the ribosomes are absent, it will be known as smooth. Now ribosomes are attached to the endoplasmic reticulum with the help of a protein known as ribofourin. This is a glycoprotein molecule which keeps the ribosomes attached to the endoplasmic reticulum. These are of two types, ribofourin 1 and ribofourin 2. So primarily, when the endoplasmic reticulum is formed from the nuclear membrane, you will form the rough endoplasmic reticulum with ribosomes, and in the other part, smooth endoplasmic reticulum is formed by the detachment of ribosomes from the endoplasmic reticulum. Now if you look at the modifications of the endoplasmic reticulum, you will find that the endoplasmic reticulum is known as the sarcoplasmic reticulum. Sarcoplasmic reticulum in the muscle cells. In the animal muscle cells, the endoplasmic reticulum is known as sarcoplasmic reticulum, and it has a huge reserve of calcium. Calcium is required for muscle contraction. The endoplasmic reticulum also forms the myeloid body. It forms the myeloid body in the retina and is responsible for the synthesis of the pigments which help you with vision. Okay. Another modification of the endoplasmic reticulum is desmotibules. In plant cells, you will find that in between two plant cells there are connections, cytoplasmic connections through gaps in the cell wall known as plasmodesmata. In these plasmodesmata connections between two plant cells, endoplasmic reticulum may be connected from one cell to the another in the form of tubules known as desmotibules. So these are the three modifications of the endoplasmic reticulum that you need to know. Next, coming to the function. So if you look in function, we'll discuss first about RER and then about SER. If you look at the functions of RER, you will know that there is presence of ribosomes. Now what are ribosomes? Ribosomes are the protein factory of the cells. So RER is primarily involved in the proteins. After synthesis, they pass into the RER, and RER is responsible for their packaging and transformation, addition and modification of the proteins. If you look at SER, smooth endoplasmic reticulum, it is more involved with formation of glycoproteins and glycolipids. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum is also responsible for something known as xenobiotics. Now what is xenobiotics? Xenobiotics is the detoxification of toxic substances. If you know that the liver in our human body is responsible for detoxification of toxic substances. So the detoxification occurs in the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Now this is enough for the endoplasmic reticulum. Next we'll come to the discussion about Golgi bodies. Golgi bodies were discovered by Camillo Golgi in nerve cells of Barnum. Okay, so where are the Golgi bodies formed from? Golgi bodies are formed from the endoplasmic reticulum. So see, endoplasmic reticulum was formed from the nuclear membrane, and Golgi bodies are formed from the endoplasmic reticulum. So if you look at the structure of the Golgi bodies, you will find that these are also formed of cisternae, tubules and vesicles. The cisternae are the flat and sac-like structures, tubules are elongated, cylindrical, hollow structures, and vesicles are ball-like hollow structures. So this Golgi body, if you look at this, the Golgi body has a convex surface. If this is a cisternae of the Golgi body, it has a convex surface, this one. This convex surface which is towards the nucleus is known as the cis phase. This cis phase of the cisternae of Golgi body is also known as the forming phase. Okay. So substances which will be produced in the endoplasmic reticulum or with the help of the nucleus will enter the Golgi body through this cis phase, and they will undergo processing and transformation in the cisternae and then come out from this another surface. This surface is the concave surface which is away from the nucleus, and that is known as the transphase or the maturing phase. So after processing, the molecules will come out in processed packages through this trans phase, which is away from the nucleus. Okay, you do not need to know much about modifications of the Golgi body except for dictyosomes. If you look at plant cells, the Golgi bodies are not arranged in the form of an organized structure like you see in the animal cells. Instead, you will find the cisternae, tubules and vesicles to be spread around the cytoplasm. This spread dissociated Golgi body found in plant cells is known as dictyosome. Okay, coming to the function, Golgi body is mainly responsible for the processing, packaging, transport and secretion of various substances. It is responsible for processing, packaging, transport and secretion of various substances. So the Golgi body is also known as something you need to remember, the macromolecular traffic controller. So all the substances that you find a cell to secrete, like a hormone, an enzyme, will all be processed through the Golgi body and then packaged, transported and secreted. Okay, so next we'll come to the next organelle of the GERL system, which is the lysosome. If you look at a lysosome, it was discovered by Christian de Duve. Okay, it was discovered by Christian de Duve. Now coming to the origin of lysosome, the lysosome is originated from the Golgi body. Okay, so now you can hopefully form the link of the GERL system, where endoplasmic reticulum is formed from nuclear membrane, Golgi body is formed from endoplasmic reticulum, and a lysosome is formed from the Golgi body. So what is the lysosome? The things you need to remember is that lysosome is a hydrolytic enzyme field. It is a hydrolytic enzyme field and it is a single membrane bound organelle. It is predominantly present in the animal cells. Okay, so what do you mean by hydrolytic enzymes? You see, hydro means water and lysis means breakdown. So hydrolytic enzymes are basically enzymes which will break down substances in the presence of water. Okay. Now coming to the structure of lysosomes, you will find that lysosomes show something known as polymorphism. Now what does polymorphism mean? Polymorphism means that there are various types of lysosome, and in a single cell you will find lysosomes at various stages of their development. You'll understand it a bit better if I tell you the types of lysosome. The types of lysosome include primary lysosomes, heterophagosomes or secondary lysosomes, residual bodies and autophagosomes. So primary lysosomes are newly formed lysosomes which have been just formed from the Golgi bodies and are rich in enzymes. These enzymes are now in an inactive stage and are not taking any function. Okay, these are just waiting to be recruited. These are the primary lysosomes. Next come the heterophagosomes. You'll know that when an animal cell is there, if there is a food substance outside the cell is capable of engulfing the food substance through a process known as endocytosis. endocytosis. So the cell will take part in endocytosis and will engulf this foreign particle within it. Now this endocytosis can be of two types. It may be phagocytosis, it may be pinocytosis. What is phagocytosis? Is that if this engulfed substance is a solid, then we'll call it phagocytosis. And if this engulfed substance is a liquid, then we'll call it pinocytosis, also known as cell eating and cell drinking. Okay. So after endocytosis, what does this look like? You'll find an animal cell with this substance inside. Now this substance which has been brought inside needs to be digested. How to digest it? How to derive energy from it? Here comes the importance of the hydrolytic enzymes. The lysosome with its enzymes will fuse with the endocytose, this is phagosome, and it will form a heterophagosome where the ingested foreign material along with the lysosomal enzymes will be present. These enzymes will then break this down and yield energy. Okay, so such a lysosome which has fused with a phagosome is known as a heterophagosome or a secondary lysosome. Next comes your residual body. Now look, when a secondary lysosome has been fusing with several phagosomes over the period of time, what will happen is its enzymes will gradually get denatured and depleted. And also when we try to break down a foreign substance, the enzymes are not able to totally disintegrate it, and hence there are some residual products which remain. So such an old lysosome which has depleted its enzymes and only contains the residual food products from the several phagosomes it has fused with, you will call that a residual body. Okay, so these are one group of lysosomes where the primary lysosome is primitive, then it is fusing with a phagosome to form heterophagosome, and when it is old it is forming a residual body. Now what are autophagosomes? Autophagosomes are another group of lysosomes which also contain hydrolytic enzyme fields, but they are something which is known as suicidal bags. See, a variety of cell organelles and substances are present within the cell. Also, the cell as a whole may undergo degeneration or disintegration after a point of time. Now, how to break this whole thing down into nutrients in order to maximize our potential? So, what autophagosomes do is these also have hydrolytic enzymes. So, auto means self, and phagosomes are things which will digest. So autophagosome technically is capable of digesting and breaking down the cell or cell organelles in itself. So since it kills itself indirectly, it is known as suicidal bags. So these are the different types of lysosomes. In a cell you will find all of these lysosomes, and hence it is known as polymorphism. Okay, you do not need to think about modifications of lysosomes. Coming to the functions, I have already told you. So it is taking part in digestion of substances which are ingested. So this is what is known as intracellular digestion. What can also happen is, suppose something is outside and the cell is not being able to engulf this substance, but it needs to break it down. What does the cell do? It brings this lysosome close to the membrane, whereby the lysosome will fuse with the cell membrane and it will release its enzymes outside, and this substance will be broken down. So this is breakdown of this product outside the cell. Hence the lysosome takes part in intracellular and extracellular digestion. Another function of the lysosome is what the autophagosomes does, that is, it takes part in autodigestion. So these are the three main functions of lysosomes that you need to remember. Now coming to the endomembrane system or the GERL system. Now what is this system? Look, that all of the functions that are occurring in a cell of producing substances, secreting them, producing enzymes, secreting them, are interlinked and are occurring through three organelles, which are the endoplasmic reticulum, the Golgi body, and the lysosome. If you look at the cell membrane components, the cell membrane components are continuously cycling between the cell membrane, the nuclear membrane, and these three organelles. So if you want to find cell membrane substances within the cell, you will find it in the Golgi body, lysosome and and the endoplasmic reticulum. So these three together form the endomembrane system, which is a dynamic system which is always taking part in secretion, modification, packaging and transport. Okay. Next we'll come to a few MCQs. Cells with secretory function. Cells with secretory function will have abundant of which organelle? Cells with secretory function will have abundance of which organelle? Option A, lysosome. Option B, ER. Option C, mitochondria. Option D, dictyosome. The answer here will be dictyosome. Now what is important is that you have to remember that Golgi bodies are taking part in secretory function. So if a cell is concerned with secretory function, Golgi bodies will be abundant. Next you need to know that dictyosomes are a modified form of Golgi body which have the contents of Golgi body dissociated around the cytoplasm. So dictyosome is technically acting as a synonym for Golgi body. Okay. Coming to the next question. When a lysosome fuses with a phagosome, what is it called? A, primary lysosome. B, secondary lysosome. C, residual body. D, autophagosome. If you haven't read Golgi lysosome properly, you'll tend to answer this because you'll look at phagosome and you'll see phagosome over here and you'll tend to take this answer. But that will be a wrong answer. If you remember that when a lysosome fuses with phagosome, it is called a heterophagosome. Heterophagosome and secondary lysosomes are synonyms. So the correct answer to this question will be a secondary lysosome. Okay. Next, coming to the next question. Detoxification of substances in liver occurs where? A, endoplasmic reticulum. B, RER. C, SER. D, ribosomes. Here again, if you are in a hurry, you will tend to take this answer because it occurs in the endoplasmic reticulum. But look, here the next two options are rough endoplasmic reticulum and smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So if you look at this question, the most appropriate answer to this question is smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Hence your answer should be smooth endoplasmic reticulum and not endoplasmic reticulum. If this was something else, say this was lysosome, then also the answer would be SER. And if this was just ER and you had two other options over here, say Golgi body and lysosome, then the correct option would have been to choose ER. But if you have a smooth endoplasmic reticulum in an option over here, that is the most appropriate and correct answer. Last of the four questions. Which of the following is a modification of endoplasmic reticulum. A. Desmosome. B. Lysosome. C. Desmotubule. D. Dictyosome. If you remember, the correct option will be desmotubules, because these are modifications of endoplasmic reticulum which are present in the plasmodesmata. They'll also give you something similar, like this also has desmo, this will also have desmo, and you'll be confused. But remember, be confident and take the right answer. Okay, so we have done with the GERL system. I hope you have enjoyed this. If you have any doubts, please call at 7439 304 203 or WhatsApp your doubts at 89100 25670. If you have liked this video, please subscribe the channel Prodigy Edu Classes. Thank you.